Well, it's been over a week since you last seen me on this little screen, wherever you're watching me, folks. Well, I haven't disappeared. No, the garden guru plants haven't taken me up to garden heaven, although I'd like to go and see what it looks like. But I've come back to have a look at my garden after a week of not being here and relying on Mother Nature and the family to look after it. Well, wish us luck. Let's have a look. Full of fruit. I've got to harvest it. Now look what's going on. These are last year's crop. We haven't, well, we have picked some actually earlier. I've done about a bowl or so. Now these are yellow sweet capsicums, but if you leave them on long enough, they become dehydrated yellow, slightly orange sweet capsicums. Now if you do let them ripen up completely, folks, you'll find they'll actually turn to a red. This is one example here, and you'll see it through the whole plant. These were yellow. Now, look at that. It's transformed into something that looks like a pepino or something like that. I don't know what they call it. This is slightly different, but this is a yellow one on the same plant. The yellows will turn red, and here's a yellow one to show you what it looks like. Beautiful yellow capsicum. And this is one that was red, and it's already been eaten at the bottom there. So they still are sweet. They're not going to go hot unless they've been cross-pollinated, and that's what will happen. So the capsicums are doing tremendously well. Do not pull them out of the garden when they finish. Cucumbers, have a look at this little beauty. Well, she ain't a little one, it's a big one, and I picked about 8 yesterday. And if I have a look in here, there's another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hanging there, and we're growing up. So we're very late in our season here, folks. I planted very, very late, but I'm having a good crop coming through so far. So this is number 10 or 12 in the second harvest. So we've already harvested, got about 8 plants in there. So you can imagine a cucumber plant will give you, I don't know, upwards of 6, 10 cucumbers on the one plant. If you look after it well, and if you've got 10 of them, that's 50 cucumbers at least. I remember my father-in-law, God rest his soul, he used to plant 500 plants in his backyard because he used to buy the seeds off me, but I never took the money, you know that. He's my father-in-law, those continental ones and the burpless. And it was just cucumbers after cucumbers because my kids loved them. They'd turn up there and he'd give them one of these. One of the raised beds that we topped up and planted again very late. We've got an eggplant that's doing tremendously well. See if there's an eggplant. There are. Look at that. We've got eggplants coming on, better late than never, and the bloody birds are digging up everything continuously, the blackbirds especially. Now there's one beauty there. We've got sweet basil that's not so sweet anymore because it's broken off, but these ones here are toppling over. Good tip for you, if you want to get longer life out of your basil, well, you shouldn't pinch it that far down, but pinch the top off, take the flower heads off, and that encourages more foliage to grow. So it'll push up more foliage unless the weather really turns for the worse. So pick them off, and you can use all this, folks. Don't throw this out. Eat it. Not like that, but eat it in your salad when you're cooking. I quickly strung up these cherry tomatoes because they were lying down on the ground here. Nobody bothered. Nobody bothered. No, nobody bothered at all. They just sort of watered them if they remembered. You can see a little bit malnourished. That needs to be fed. I haven't picked a red one yet off here, but I've just put them up there. Look at look at this. Look at this little cluster. Huh? That's nuts. Plenty there. So if we ain't going to get the big malakas happening, which I'll show you in a minute, we're going to get a lot of cherries, but also the horseradish. This is what I planted and I divided a long time ago, well, not a long time ago, a few weeks ago, and popped some in the ground here. And we've got, that's the other one there. Remember, if you can find that little video, you'll see me burying something that looked half dead. It's taken off there. Now this will spread through the entire garden, but ignore these. I'm causing these to suffer because I didn't like them, so I'm giving them a painful death. It's not like Vasily, is it? Sometimes we lose it. Well, Andrea's tomatoes have finally kicked on. We've got tomatoes hanging better late than never. Like I said, I only planted these probably in, I can't remember, December I think it was, November, December. And you know, giving them a go, and now they're starting to form. Now I haven't grown these before, but you can see the clusters there. You know what makes them grow so well at the bottom there? Even though the bad weather we've experienced, they're still fruiting. That's a black grit. If you haven't tried black grit, you're missing out. And the superfood, combine that and that's a powerhouse. Combine that together and you've got a powerhouse of fertilizers, and to finish it off, a liquid feed on top. So these are doing okay. I haven't topped them all up, and if you want to pay close attention to this, have a look at this. Very open in the middle. Yes, I've thinned it out a little bit, and none of those have been topped up with soil in the pot. My bad, because I've been away from doing other bigger and exciting things. But this one here, I have topped up, and you can see it. It's got a bit more foliage on it, a bit more growth in it, healthier looking too. So better late than never, as they say. I think it's time to put some planting mix in those little pots there and hopefully get some more roots growing. Look at this nightmare here. I've got beans in the background growing. They've taken off setting fruit, but they've wrapped themselves around the big malacca here. And right here is a cluster of, or a little bunch of flowers, I should say. Let me just get this vine out of the way. And here we have, if I don't knock the flowers off completely, we've got some big malacas. There's another one growing there. There's more on the other side. We've got more setting all over this plant, another cluster here. We lost a few flowers because the high winds really are harsh out here. And if they come from the southwesterly, that's where it blows from. That's where it's blowing from now. Southeasterly, I should say. It makes it a lot harder for the plant to stay stable. This is the string line. I don't think I'm ever going to do that again. Unless you sit there tying it up to the string line. It just holds it up in place, but it really doesn't structure the plant properly. And being away for a week, the plant's just grown in every direction it can possibly can. It's actually grown through the other side, which I've got to train up with the beans on the framework. And it needs to be tied up. See what I mean? Look at this. Hanging down, no pruning, no nothing. Tomatoes growing inside. You can't see any on this side. Setting fruit, but at least we've got some nice beans growing on. Have a look at these beauties. They're going to come on really well. When talking about irrigation and, you know, watering your garden, folks, there are ways of measuring it, and one of them is a 4-in-1 moisture or soil survey instrument, which has a moisture meter on it. And you can buy moisture meters, or you can stick your finger in the ground, or you can have a look at your plants and see if they're struggling like I swallowed my tongue there, like my lettuce. Bolted. You know why they're bolted? Because they didn't get enough water and it got hot. And if you give them enough water early in the morning, not in the afternoon, they will not bolt like that. They need the moisture in the ground. These ones are a little bit more protected from the direct sunlight. They're about to bolt as well. See that? See the different leaf on them? That's where it's about to push up and put its flowers on top there. So these have to come out. This is what happens when the gardener's not home to look after his garden. Have you experienced something like that with your garden? Maybe your neighbours or family and friends looking after yours, and you go home and it's dead and they go, but I watered it. Clearly they haven't watered. Come back. Look at this mess. Look at this mess. Look at this onion. Who forgot to get the onion out of the ground? It's grown upon itself twice over. This one here is struggling as well. Needs to come out. This is not an onion. That looks like a garlic, but it's an onion. It's been hit a couple of times. And this is our sandy soil now because water's not getting in. Well, hose has got to come out. Weeding's got to be done. Mowing's got to be done, and feeding. Liquid feed your plants, give them a light dosage now just to give them another kick to go through the rest of summertime if they're going a little bit yellow. These are probably going to fruit a little bit. I won't expect them to get amazing fruit. These are George's tomatoes, by the way. These are the ones that we haven't got any seed of, so I'm hoping to be able to harvest something of this. Better late than never, or otherwise we knock on George's door and say, hey mate George, we need some more seeds. And because they're heirloom varieties, you can keep the seed and they'll stay true to type. So collect your seeds, let them go to seed. If it's not just tomatoes, lettuce, whatever plants you have, even your cucumbers, leave one fruit on there to ripen to its complete capacity, go completely yellow. That's what you want to see. Otherwise, get out and feed your garden, give it a prune, and we're going to be talking about pruning fruit trees for summer pruning as well. So check out our website, vasili'sgarden.com. It's been a while, folks, but we're back and we're going to go bigger and better than ever, and we'll start to fill you in with all the great, exciting things that are happening with our little company and our, obviously, little segments that we do here online. We're also giving away a fruit and grape press unit. So that's one of those things where you put the fruit in or the grape and you squeeze it down and it comes out with the juices on the bottom end, and you can start making your own wine or fruit juice if you like. That's going to be online soon for you to be able to win it. And all you need to do is shop online at vasili'sgarden.com. It's on till the 26th, and the lucky winner will be drawn at the end of the month. Check it all out at vasili'sgarden.com. From me, Vasili, Maresi, I gotta go and garden.